So they, Renee and Rush are in a Zoom right now, and we're having this conversation. And I'm streaming it to Facebook primarily because Renee, who is a great dancer and teacher and a very good friend, I'm very happy to be here for her. And Rush, you too. Um, she sent a text message asking about buying a GoPro to maybe up her dance class hardware, and would that be helpful? And I had an answer for her right away, and then I thought to myself, you know what, this might make a good video. So here we are. Um, so let's just talk about this. Renee and Rush, you've been teaching online already since the start. I've seen your Ordway lessons.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's been great. And those are all recorded and then streamed. They're not live stream in real time, right? Right. What else? What other teaching are you doing that you're hoping to use this gear for? So what's kind of the big picture activity that you're hoping to do?
I'm hoping to, well, I'm teaching a couple private lessons right now, and we've taught a couple of residencies through the Coles Center. We were finishing up a big program called Creations through the Coles, and we were teaching on Google Meet, but I've also been using Zoom. And I'm just looking to add that external camera so that I don't have to be doing this the whole time when I'm teaching. And I can have a little more control over what they're seeing as far as my body and being able to show what I'm doing and show my face as well so they can like adequately understand what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, and then of course the sound component, and we've got some advice from you already from your other videos, but one thing that's challenging is just getting the sound right for everybody. It's like a little quiet for us, but it's loud for them. They can't hear our voice. So just trying to up our supplies so that we can have a better experience for our students and for us. And looking at like this might be more of a long-term thing, wanting to invest in equipment that's going to be good for that.
Sure.
And I know personally, I'm starting to work with some musical collaborators, but again, everything's digital. And I just want to know if there is a mic or what audio equipment is going to be dual purpose for both individual recordings and the classroom setting stuff.
Sure, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So yes, so there's quite a bit to unpack, but and the answers are on one hand really easy, but on the other hand, the complexity is all about that multi-use part, and that's what gives it that extra layer. And so I did want to mention in your text you're asking specifically about GoPros, and I use a GoPro with Laura. And for those who don't know, I'm married to Laura
Right.
Celebritucio, who's a dancer and instructor here in town. And so I've got her set up. Someone, I think, is sawing something out in their backyard. I've got Laura set up with a GoPro feeding her laptop. And that gives her, if you've ever seen her teaching, it gives a pretty good shot of the dance space, which is something like a 12 by 12 maybe. And it's full body for her. And so there's no adjusting of the camera. But there's not a lot of distortion. It's not a fisheye type thing. So
Sure.
the body still looks somewhat normal. And that's certainly a good idea. So let me address that part first. So this here, hello everybody. This here is the GoPro. This is a 5. Now there's an 8, which you can get for $3.99. Okay, so I'm several models back, but this is a standard model. One of the things you're going to need is a way to mount it. So you have the 399 for the GoPro, and then this here is a tripod mount because you need to get it onto a tripod or some way of clipping it. If you don't want to use a tripod, they do make GoPro clips, and then you would clip it to things. But okay, that's the cost. So I think this was in the $29 to $39 range. But really, the thing that makes it, the GoPro, first of all, is really versatile. It's a good, clean image. It's a good wide shot, so it's great for that. But you need to get something like this, which is called a Magewell, and there are several products like this. This is basically a USB capture device. It takes HDMI signal. The GoPro puts out an HDMI, so it takes HDMI into the Magewell, and it spits it out as USB, so that when you plug that into your computer, your camera thinks it's a webcam. Now, the challenge with this is this particular model costs almost as much as a GoPro. It's $349.
Yeah.
They make other models of this, and plus other competing brands that are in the 125 to 299 range, depending on the brand and the build quality. But the interesting thing about it is the two combined gives you a great image. You can always use the GoPro for a whole bunch of other things, and then you bring it, add it to this, and it goes to the computer. So yes, absolutely, that's one way to go for a nice clean image. Of course, you also have to think about the micro HDMI cable. GoPros don't come with them, so that's an added cost of like $50. So you go GoPro for $399, cable to the Magewell for $49.99, the Magewell itself or some competitor, right? And then that goes into your computer. So that's certainly one way of doing it. The other way I like to point out to people who are, and this might be something of interest. This is not what I'm trying to sell.
Is that Legos?
It's a Lego camera. So I have a lot of cameras. I actually don't own just a regular webcam. And so what it is it is a webcam, USB camera with autofocus and sound, but then it's got no case. And so I built it was for one of Silas's things. I built him a Lego webcam. I'm only using it illustratively. You could get one of these suckers that already there's no need for a middle device because it plugs right into your computer. You make sure you buy a wide angle webcam. All right, and then that can just clip to the top of your laptop, or you can get webcams do have tripod mounts, so you could put it on tripod to put it in a place better than where your laptop is.
Yeah.
And that'll give you a wide view. Now, these range to about $299, $199, $299, $399. That's kind of the quality I would want you to do. They have, of course, $39 webcams and $99 webcams. They're not that great in low light, and they're probably not wide angle. When you want something with good image in low light, and so we don't really know what kind of studios you're in, or if you're in your homes and you just have regular house lighting. Yeah, so I see you got the rail lighting. Yeah. So you can aim some of those, but it's going to be still dramatic. It's not going to be a clean white light.
Right.
So you do want to spend at least $199 or $299. The one that I like to recommend to people is a Logitech C920.
Okay.
That's a Logitech model. So that's a webcam, plugs right into your computer. It comes with a mount already. So right away, if you're not thinking of needing the versatility in the camera, you could think of this instead.
Sure.
And that's your price point.
More straightforward.
Yeah.
But it has like one use.
Right. It has one use. Now, do you guys have a DSLR camera or a video cam? Did I just lock up? Uh-oh. Well, hi, Facebook folks. I think I locked up, or somebody locked up. Okay, you're back. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do you have just a regular like a video camera at home or a DSLR camera?
No, we don't have any.
Point and shoot? Not even a point and shoot?
Phones.
Oh my gosh, you're that generation. No, I get it. Absolutely. Yeah. Because the other thing I was going to show off, this might be less helpful to you two specifically, but it might be helpful to other people who have access to these things. This is like the Magewell, except it's the old school RCA cables
Yeah.
to USB. So anybody that has a DSLR camera, for example, this is one of my old DSLRs, right? And it comes with a standard kit wide lens. So if you've got one of these lying around, they would have come with a cable, and what's called the AV cable, and it goes from 3.5 millimeter to the RCAs, video and audio. Plug those into here, this into your computer, and now your DSLR has become a webcam. So that's an option for people if they've got access to it. Or if you had access to, like, I don't know, maybe your folks might have an old Handycam at home that they can just send you, right? Because the same thing, Handycams come with with this cable, and then you buy this thing. And this thing is between $29 and $50 because it's old school. It's RCA to USB. So if you think you can get a line on an older on someone else's Handycam or DSLR, this could save you some money. Do what you want it to do, and then now you also have a camera they can tool around with, or take pictures with. So those are the three kind of levels to cameras I sort of want to introduce to you. the GoPro again, it's a good idea, but it's probably the most expensive of the options, primarily because of the partnership.
Right. You have to buy all the other stuff.
Yeah, the webcam is a low cost way to go, but it's single use. But at least you get full body. If you get the wide angle version, it gives you a good size of your space. And then of course, if you're into recycling and you can get your hands on an old camcorder or a DSLR camera, then you just spend the $50 on the RCA cable, and that converts it to USB. Okay, so let me go back to this shot. That's the shot I wanted. Okay. So, so based on the camera stuff, any questions about that, or do you want to tweak the need maybe, and that'll help you sort of fall onto a decision? Like, what did you think about those as options?
I have like my instinct is to just find a webcam. So it's like you're specifically buying that for that purpose because I think we're going to be using it a lot for that purpose. I'm sure we could think of ways to use a GoPro, but right now they're not like jumping out at me as a need. So I don't know. That's my instinct.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's a good instinct. That's kind of why whenever people say I see you're using a webcam, can I do that too? I'm like, oh, that's a great ledge to jump off of, but it's kind of high. Let's find you a slightly lower ledge. So okay,
you don't really necessarily need a GoPro.
Yep.
Especially because Rush has the nice like newer iPhone that has the fish lens. So like if we wanted pre-record stuff, we can use his phone, which we used for the Ordway lessons that you saw.
So that was a cell phone capture on a tripod. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it was his phone in the fish lens option.
Yeah, it looked great. I thought that's why I remember texting you asking, did you have some kind of cool setup? Because I really liked the images from that Ordway stuff you guys did. I mean, the images were clean. Yeah,
the iPhone 11.
There you go. Yeah. Good. Okay, so that sort of talks about that. Let's talk about Rush's question was microphones. And so what's your use with a microphone?
Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Okay. The primary use would be music and voiceover audio capture, just because I'm working collaboratively with artists and beat makers and just want to have a good audio product. And then if that were something that could also be used in tandem with, say, Zoom or a digital class, so that the audio isn't dominated by the music that we're playing, that would be ideal.
Okay.
If you have one that's just for the audio music recording thing, like that's great too, but ideally dual purpose is great.
Okay. So let me switch camera shots one more time, and let me point at this thing.
That's cool.
This is a microphone with a windscreen, what they call it, the dead cat. It's a Zoom H4n Pro is the model. Zoom is a nice line. Tascam is another one. There it is. That was such a delayed sneeze.
Yeah.
Oh, but you weren't on camera, so you're fine.
But the sound
was there. But it's all good. It's all good. And there's no COVID over the internet. What was I going to say? So this is it's a portable recorder. You can get them for $99, $199, $299, depending on the model. That you can record yourself obviously into it. You slide an SD card, so that's its use as a musical recording device. I think your sneeze is making my nose itch because now my nose is itching. But the other thing is the H1, for example, is just a recorder with the X-type microphone for capture, and so it's no big deal. Little pocketable thing. It has USB out, so you could turn it into a USB mic. Now, if you bought a cable for it, they don't come with cables because they stopped doing that. But if you bought the cable for it, that's the one cable I forgot to grab. Oh wait, no. I did grab it. It's over here. So for this particular model, it's just regular USB, right? Goes into the computer, and then it's mini USB, not micro typically right now with these devices. So that's the cable you want. I know a lot of phones right now are micro USB, and then now they're USB-C. Anyway, you jump up to this model, the H4, and which I use, and it's got the ability. It's got XLR inputs and quarter-inch inputs. So if I wanted to, I would be able to, for example, take a feed off of a soundboard somewhere and get stereo mix into my recorder, right? So this is one of the cables that lives with it. So that's, or you know, if another way I use it, I've used this as a a 4-track recorder. So input 1, input 2, and then the X type is right and left, basically. And I've recorded live music for dance performances with it. I mic'd the piano. I mic'd somebody that was on an oboe, would you believe? And then
Sure.
The X type was picking up, was aimed at elsewhere. It was a narrator, and that narrator was playing guitar.
Great.
So I was able to get 3 separate tracks basically off of that performance using this device, and this is in the 199 range. So this might be good for you if you're doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the other reason for the step up is so this thing can USB out into your computer and just be a regular USB mic. But I don't know if you can notice this. There is this just an 1/8 inch cable coming out. It's a line out 1/8 inch that's feeding my switcher. So in other words, I could feed USB or I could feed analog. It gives me that kind of flexibility. So it depends on where are you trying to feed your sound. If you're trying to feed a computer, you got the USB portion. If you want to feed a mixer or you want to feed anything else that musicians feed, you would probably use this output instead.
Right.
So that's 199. And then they make models above that, the H5, the H6, and that's just into the Zoom range. The brand is called Zoom. Tascam is another good brand. And so, I mean, what do you think? Do you feel like you have a need for what I sort of described here?
Yeah, no, that sounds like a great fit. My one question is, are there cables or collaborative outputs that say you could hook up or convert that mic to a phone? I know some mics plug in that way. Can you grab the audio that way?
Right. Yes. There are. A brand I'd like to direct people to is called the iRig, small I, and then capital RIG, because it's like the iPhone and the iPod, right? So they make interfaces that connect analog mics to iPhones, and it was originally intended for the the regular headphone jack, and then you have to get a lightning adapter for it, and I guess in other ones it's a USB adapter. But and then of course with Apple products, you need to have cables that are not TRS but TRRS. It's got that extra connecting point. It's, if that makes sense. So when you're trying to buy cables online, TRRS cables, audio cables, are the ones that are Apple friendly.
Okay.
And that way you
Great.
can take something that's analog and feed feed an Apple device. So yes, that's doable. And so you could take a regular any old mic, and of course, depending on its output, you have to convert the cable down to something. If it's an XLR mic, you got to convert it down to a 1/4 inch, and then from there you can take it into one of the iRig products. That's certainly one way of doing it. If you were to put this, I put this into an iPhone every once in a while, and that's over an iRig product. So I'm coming out this analog jack into the iRig, converts it into something that my iPad would understand.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So that's doable. So if you're thinking microphone into phone, and that's your mobile kit. Yeah.
Or even my iPad, because that's where my GarageBand and IMPC music programs live.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That next to the iPad.
Yeah. I would almost say though, from a audio standpoint, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to start discussion on this, and I'm not really going to take the questions on it, but from the Facebook folks, I like dedicated audio recorders rather than a mic feeding a phone, for the quality. Yeah. The quality of the file is better on dedicated audio recorders, frankly, and then the versatility too. I mean, you don't have to worry about, do I have enough memory on my phone? You could just, on this sucker, just swap SD cards. So you're doing a big project, and now you got to clear a whole lot of content from your phone all of a sudden because you want to make sure you don't run out of space. You just buy a bunch of multiple SD cards. I'm not even pointing at it. Buy a bunch of portable SD cards. Yeah. So I would say if you've got the money to spend, this is the way to go rather than a fancy mic iRig to the phone. But
Right.
if your use case is like, I only ever want to take my phone somewhere, I never do anything else, then that's almost a reason to do the iPhone iRig version. So again, it depends on your end use case.
I think for the home studio vibe, I think the one that you're talking about, the Zoom there,
Okay.
is probably the no.
Yeah. And the cool thing is you could use it for your dance classes. Now, obviously, your webcam will have a microphone on it. So you buy the webcam, that improves your audio right away. First of all,
Great.
way better than what you're getting off of your laptop. But then the next step would be if you got one of these Zoom devices, you could you could, for example, if you both are teaching, and now we're getting really fancy, how much money do you want to spend? You could put in wireless mics. These are two inputs. You could feed one wireless mic that you're wearing, Rush, and then the other wireless mic that Renee's wearing, and it feeds this Zoom that I own, and that feeds your class. And now you're both mic'd up, right?
Wow.
So that's what this H4n can do for $199, of course, plus the cost of the wireless units. But the fact of the matter is, that's a way to grow.
The room to grow too.
Yes.
Like we wanted to eventually buy those.
Yep. No, that's correct.
Great fix on the mic.
So and these are all real time classes, right? It's like a Zoom or a Meet where you see the people also, and so you want that real time back and forth. Okay. Because the other thing I'll mention, and let me just point this just for other people. This, if anyone's been watching Shapiro Smith or S. Stuart Primslow Dance and Theater live streams, this is a Mevo Cam. Let me just turn this around. This is an older model. They now have another model that just came out. And this allows me to live stream to Facebook, to YouTube, to anywhere, frankly. Anything that takes a live feed, I could feed it through the Mevo. It connects to my iPhone or my iPad for cellular data. Or you can connect it to the Wi-Fi of the building you're in, and then you're able to feed. So if you were teaching over Facebook Live or YouTube Live or Twitch or LinkedIn, for example, this could be obviously you're not seeing people, you're just seeing their chat, but this is also another option. The reason I mention it is for example, if Renee was teaching and Rush, you're on the iPad, you would be able to control the device and it wide shot and then focus on Renee's feet and then back to wide shot and then maybe follow Renee as she goes across the dance floor. It's got that kind of capability built into this sucker, and it's controlled by a phone or an iPad.
The Mevo.
It's a Mevo.
That's
So I'm
cool.
a big fan. I'm a proponent. I've had
cool.
the Mevo Plus, and now there's a Mevo Start that I'm not yet allowed to buy. So we'll see where that goes. But I just want to mention that for cameras. But before we run out of time, you also wanted to talk audio and 2 laptop setup, right?
Well, yes, and I think that you've already done a really extensive video about that. So I feel like good about understanding the advantages to that.
Yeah.
And I think that like that will be an eventual. It's way more important, I feel like, for tap teaching. Like
Right.
I've been able to make it work with my other styles, like the delay, and we're kind of used to the delay because we've worked with it a lot at the Kohl Center when we've done live teaching there for a while. But I think that eventually we'll need to figure that out too.
But the other thing that that's great, first of all, and I'm glad that other video sort of helps out. The thing I do want to point out, if you haven't done it yet, to do the 2 device setup, because if you, the point that I think I may not have been clear on for other folks is that you're listening to the audio coming from the second device. You're not listening to it from the first.
Right.
So if you're listening to it from the second, you're hearing it at the same level your students are hearing it. So you won't have the issue of it being soft for you and loud for them, because you're hearing it the way they're hearing it.
They're hearing.
Yes,
cool.
that's exactly right. And of course, if the second device is obviously doing all the audio, so that's where the microphone is plugged into. The host device is just playing the music. That means your music and your microphone are now separate audio. So then you could adjust so that they hear you over the music without you having to make your music so low. So that's one of the big advantages, apart from solving the lag issue.
Right. You just have more control over
Yeah.
the music and your voice in general.
Yeah. And of course, when you have that second device, then you might as well plug it into your flat screen, and
then you
everyone
can
look,
really
everyone
shoot.
fits on a 50-inch screen. I don't know how big you guys have over there, but what?
How big is that?
I don't know, 36.
Okay, well that's bigger than a 15-inch laptop right there. So everyone
Yeah.
has more real estate. Okay, cool. Well, what do you think? Did that solve it for you?
Totally.
Yeah, I think that we'll probably get the microphone and the webcam,
Yeah.
probably, and just start there and kind of start experimenting with that. Or maybe you wanted to
trick
get
will
a
be the
microphone
cabling.
anyway. Yeah, we'll
Just getting
figure
the
out
cables.
Yeah, well, the cool thing about the webcam is there's no cable there. It's really all about the mic part. And so that's going to be a little more homework on your part, Rush, because the cabling is important for all the other stuff you want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So absolutely. Yep, that makes sense.
Her computer doesn't actually have USB.
It has the USB-C.
USB-C, that's what.
Right, yeah. So then you would need the USB-C version of whatever the interface is.
Right.
That you're getting. So the cable would be out of these guys. It would be that mini to USB-C, or it's a Mac, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might want to actually hunt for Mac specific cables then, which
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of buying on brand, and I know that's also going to start a whole nother controversy, but particularly when it comes to Apple stuff, staying on brand, you're almost more guaranteed of a success rate versus going off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad that
Yeah.
that's something. Yeah. So let me know any other questions, and I'm looking forward to seeing stuff, whatever it is that you guys are doing. So I you feed my Facebook. I see your links.
We're out there.
I see your freestyle, Rush.
I'm making them.
Yeah.
I know.
We're now like on iPhone and MacBook, and that's it. Like your MacBook Air.
Yeah, MacBook
And
Air.
that's what we got.
Yeah. No, this is good. This is good. So, okay. Well, I think for Facebook folks, I'm going to end the stream here, and we're going to just go back to just talking like regular people after this.
Hey,
so,
regular people.
thank you, Renee and Rush. I'm very thankful. I'm sure there are people that are trying to do exactly what you're doing. So I'm kind of hoping that they're going to just pretty much copy what you go down line with, and it'll work for them as well. And
I
everyone,
think there's people who right away were like, I'm buying things now.
yeah,
And like for me, I was like not really needing to do that because most of my ongoing teaching is pre-recorded.
yeah.
But now it's starting to add up, like the private lessons and the like. And I guess we forgot to mention this, but in like 3 weeks, we're doing a performance live, Rush and I. So we're gonna have to figure like we need to by then have like a good.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just put out a video yesterday about
Yes.
dance production through Zoom.
yeah.
So yeah, okay, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to that, to your show. Okay, well, thanks. I'm gonna let you get back. I think I'm using my free Zoom, so we're probably approaching a time limit here. So everyone else in Facebook land, thanks for tuning in, and Russian and Renee, love you guys, and good luck.
Thanks.
And
Much
I'm gonna
love.
end the stream. You guys don't actually go anywhere yet. I'm just gonna end the stream.
Okay.
All right.
All right.